Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're here starting a new series that we're going to do for the next 6 weeks. It's a mini-series, basically, a six-parter. This is an idea that Ben had. I fully endorsed it, and so I've come up with basically the idea that he wanted to do, but I've added a little bit of my own elements to it so that it's become part of it, so that makes it a little bit longer and a little bit more interesting. So the show will be called Bands by the Numbers. And so we're going to start out by doing a six-man band, but we will be doing one episode for each week, and we'll do a six-man band, my favorite six-man band this week. Also give you two alternatives, and then we'll do a five-man band, a four-man band, a three-man band, a two-man band, and then a one-man band, which is a solo band. Now there are some duets that we'll probably do. So I picked out the band I think is my personal favorite of six-man band. A couple other bands or some other bands I will mention after I do this. And what I'm going to do is just talk about the part of the band that was the six-man band and the albums that were contained within and who was in that band. So the six-man band that I've chosen to talk about, which I think is probably my favorite six-man band, is Gentle Giant. Yes. But Gentle Giant wasn't always a six-man band. They were for the first four albums, which include this one, which is Three Friends, which is the third album. I should have done this actually the other order, but I grabbed the wrong one first. So this is the debut. I know this looks like the debut, which is the only difference is that this one has brown hair versus this one, which has blonde hair. But there's no real difference. It's the same album cover pretty much. If you look at it closely, you might be able to see a few more differences, but I don't think so. So the only real difference is the blonde hair on this one and the Three Friends written on it. So this is their third album. This is their first album. In between those albums comes this album, which is Acquiring the Taste. And then their fourth album, which is this one, Octopus. So the reason I chose the reason I chose this band is because these four albums make up that six-man band when they were a six-man band, because after Octopus, they then became a five-man band as Phil Shulman left the band and they never replaced them. They just went on as a five-man band. So with Gentle Giant, so they're on their opening album, they were a six-man band. There's a nice shot of them there. You've got the Shulman brothers, Phil, Ray, and Derek Shulman. You have Kerry Minier on keyboards and Gary Green on guitar. And in addition to that, you have Martin Smith on the drums. So Martin Smith stayed with the band on the second album as well, which is this one, probably my favorite of their albums at this current time in my history. Yeah, this way. So the same six guys on this one are also on the debut. Then they made a small change, they made a change onto the third album, which is Three Friends. Martin Mortimer joins them on drums, replacing Martin Smith. And then you have the final guy, Malcolm Mortimer. I know I said Martin. I was thinking, did I say Martin? Yeah, Malcolm Mortimer was the drummer. And then on the fourth album, which is Octopus, they replaced Malcolm Mortimer, They replaced Malcolm Mortimer with John Weathers, who then stayed with the band until their final demise in 1980. So this, I think, these four albums and this group of six are probably my favorite six-man bands in history. So the only other two bands that really kind of are on the radar that would maybe challenge this would be Iron Maiden. And Iron Maiden became a six-man band when Adrian Smith and Bruce Dickinson rejoined the band for the is it 1990? Yeah, I think the 1990 No Prayer for the Dying, and they were with that band for the remainder. So they've been that band for the last 6 albums. They would be easily the second favorite 6-man band for this thing. And the other one that I included, who I also like quite a bit, is Foreigner, but that would be only their first 3 albums. Foreigner 1, Double Vision, and Head Games, which they had 6 members on their band as well. A couple of other 6-man bands that I like that possibly could be up here at some point. XTC is another 6-man band I like, and Rammstein, another 6-man band I like. So there, you got like 3 or 4 bands that are 6-man bands, but for this episode, I chose Gentle Giant. I think actually as a 6-man band, they were probably at their best. I think their best albums collectively came out as a 6-man band, although the stuff that came out after as a 5-man band is really good too. So not a huge difference other than we have one less member. I do like the Phil Shulman stuff a little bit better. So that's it for the first episode of this series, Band by the Numbers, featuring Gentle Giant as the 6-man band. Next week we're going to do the 5-man bands. That will be much more difficult because there are a huge number of 5-man bands I like, but I will choose my favorite one and pretty much try to stay with the era where they are dominated by that number. Some of the bands, as you know, were 5-man bands and then became different, maybe 4 or 3-man bands even, and then you got some others that started out as 4-man bands, became 5 or 5-man bands, went back to 4, came back again. There's a little bit of that goes on. So I will give you the era that I like the best, and I already know who's going to be my number 1 5-man band, but probably have a few honorable mentions in there as well. And then we will do the 4-man one the next time we get around. So this series will go on for six episodes, in which we will do one for each of those numbers. And of course, the final 2 won't really be bands. They're going to be duets and a single individual. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of, what did I call this again? Bands by the Numbers, and we will see you next week for the second episode. So have yourself a good evening, take care, and goodbye.